from the far end. He's back in. Swepson went for 12 in the last over he bowled, and hence a change in the pace of the game. Finch would be expecting short spells. It's warm, it's not easy. You don't want to be overtaxing your faster bowlers. Give me 2 or 3. But hit that deck. Bowl it into that pitch. Fielders in the deep square of the wicket. Yeah, sweep a third man. Deep square leg and the fine leg. Remember, overs 11 to 40, a maximum of 4 allowed outside the circle. With this field, just got to stay away from the slot or pitching it up to the batsman. Back of a length is what Finch would be asking from Pat Cummins.
Back of the length, wicket to wicket, any width. Both these players are very strong. Square of the wicket with only one field in the ring. Stephen Smith, a core point and third man. Very finish. This one just keeping low, not that short. That's probably the best length to bowl at. This pitch very slow. I mean, it's even short. It's a plenty of time for the batsman to play the score. Wicket shots. Cummins has been really impressive since he has arrived in Sri Lanka.
Knew what he was doing, though. He did look clumsy, Dhananjay De Silva, going across his stumps to try and access that area around square leg or behind square. So he goes way across.
And also trying to get Pat Cummins off that good length, which is really good at hitting that back of the length. Bowlers, when your batsman is not trying to do too much, you're comfortable in pitching in one length and try and get away with lots of dot deliveries. As a batsman, you've got to be proactive, do something different, come down the track or go right back towards your stump, try and wicket it. That's much better by Kusal Mendis, much straighter on the leg side. So I think Dhananjay De Silva is doing the right thing. Has faced 29 deliveries for 30. Not need to get a move on. Not too sure what to put on board, especially the way Australia batted the other day. And also the other factor has been the weather.
Yeah, but you can't think of that. You've got to think of the moment. If you think too far ahead, be intimidated by the Australian batting, you'll be forced to take risks. You're not going to get anything to stay in the game with. Just keep rotating the strike. Make sure you're scoring at 4-5 and over. Take the game till about the 25th, maybe even the 30th. Assess from there and go. Make sure you get to about 250, 260, which will give your bowlers a chance. This pitch will be slower. There'll be a little bit more turn than what we saw a couple of days ago. Hence, stay in the game initially.
And was getting rid of Pat Cummins from that length. Say that moving down the pitch or else using the pitch behind. Not about... Oh, down the ground. Drop catch. Oh, everything happening there. Travis said for a moment we thought he's going to hold on to it. But Pat Cummins, even with Dhanush Gunathilaka, found deep square leg fielder similar this time. But Travis said spills it. Sri Lanka lucky. The end of the 17th. Sri Lanka 81 for 2.
He hit it hard. Travis Head, we thought, had got it covered.
म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट किया?
या मैंने आज म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसा डाला और कल मार्केट नीचे आ गया तो मैं उतना रिस्क नहीं लेना चाहता।
देख, म्यूचुअल फंड्स में रिस्क तो है, इसलिए हर म्यूचुअल फंड का रिस्क समझकर ही इन्वेस्ट किया कर और उतने ही पैसे इन्वेस्ट कर जो लंबे समय तक रख सके।
भाई बात तो तेरी सही है।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
Partnership 46 of 46. Dhananjay is also going at a runner ball. He gets a life. Was short, it was there to be hit. He hit it well. Slight misjudgment in the deep. He overruns it, Travis Head.
For written all over it as far as I'm concerned. A shot, Dhananjay De Silva was in a good position. Hammered it, but just that. Found the lone field at deep square leg, as you mentioned. Yes, Travis Head overran it. Not in a good position to hold on to it.
It did curve on him a little bit, and that's what got him into a mess. He got the seam position right, Dhananjay De Silva, off the bat. Hence, curved in the air, Maha, just like when you were bowling. Use that seam. It's an art for the batsman to use it. Oh, lovely. Great use of the wrist. Effortlessly hit for 6. 50 partnership, and he comes off 50 balls. It's 53 between these two.
Probably the shot of the day so far by Kusal Mendis. Abhushan offering the pace. And from the middle stump, Kusal Mendis very good at the sweep shot. The vacant area over the square leg fielder. And perfectly found. Massive 6.
Now the field changes. Mid-wicket came down to square leg on the sweep. I got the boundary. Knock it around. Wrists. Awesome. He knows he needs just to beat those two in the circle. It's risk-free.
Come on.
Nice hit.
Oh.
That's 18 bowled. It's 89 for 2. The players will have drinks.
वो एक म्यूचुअल फंड में मैं इन्वेस्ट कर रहा था. तूने इन्वेस्ट किया कि नहीं?
मैं मार्केट चेंज होने के लिए रुका हूँ. म्यूचुअल फंड्स में बैटिंग की तरह टाइमिंग इंपॉर्टेंट है.
गलत. बैटिंग के लिए टाइमिंग सही है, लेकिन म्यूचुअल फंड्स के लिए टाइम स्पेंड इन मार्केट बिल्कुल सही है. मतलब जितना टाइम मार्केट में स्पेंड करेगा, फायदा होने का चांस उतना ही बढ़ेगा.
एकदम सही है. चलो शार्क करके फिर मैं म्यूचुअल फंड्स के मैदान में उतरता हूँ.
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है. योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें.
मूर्तिमान, पैसे बचाने के लिए इतना जोर मत लगाओ. जस्ट यूज एक्को. और कार इंश्योरेंस पे 50,000 तक बचाओ.
कोई ना.
Check Acco app now.
कितने पैसे चाहिए?
पैसा नहीं, इज्जत. मोहल्ले के चिरकुट लौंडे हरा रहे हैं फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स में. आप एक्सपर्ट हो, सिखाओ.
खाऊंगा तो जाने दोगे?
अरे मन्नू भैया की जबान मतलब नेता का वायदा. कायदे से जाने देंगे.
नाउ टीच.
फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स का असली अखाड़ा.
इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम के तत्व हैं और इसकी लत लग सकती है. कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें.
साइबर क्राइम की एक लेटेस्ट दुनिया.
इनसे बचने के लिए इनके वर्ल्ड में घुसना होगा
और इनकी सोच से आगे सोचना होगा.
अब क्रिमिनल्स की उल्टी गिनती शुरू.
टीम ट्रेस है तैयार
अगेंस्ट साइबर वॉर.
Vimal presents Cyber War, her screen crime scene, streaming free on Voot. Download the app now.
This June, how many cricketing blockbusters can you handle? All the big guns. All the big hits at your fingertips. Watch England versus New Zealand 3 Test Series live on Sony Live.
Nisanka, the two dismissed. This Mendes and Dhananjay, they're going along nicely at the moment. 54 of 52. With these two going along nicely, such a lovely part of the world. Culture, history. Sri Lanka is rich. Plenty to see, soak in, the hospitality, the people, the warmth.
And remember who we are. So strong, so resilient. Sri Lanka can.
Sri Lanka can. They sure can. People coming out here, they go back with so many memories. positive in everything is they always do come back. That tells you a story of how things are here. Pat Cummins should have had a wicket in the last over that he bowled. He hits it well. Watch it swing on Travis Head in the deep. Just there. Ends up overrunning it and misjudging it. Head gets hit all over. Very good from Dhananjay De Silva helping his man out. Different field though for Mendes, no extra cover. The man at about fourth slip because he's so good at running it down there. Now the field changes for De Silva, who's a different type of player.
Yeah, to Kusal Mendes, very interesting field set by Aaron Finch. Mid off, right in the square that's Glenn Maxwell. Suggests to me it's predictable. Nothing's going to be full. But Dhananjay De Silva, more conventional mid off and a sweeper cover.
Keeps it along the ground. They should come back for two. No, they don't. Heads ahead of the game. Anticipated well and got to it quickly.
Decent partnership building up between these two players. Charita Salanka and Dasun Shanaga, the recognized batsman. Foundation for the moment has been laid, but it's important these two batsmen carry on. My friend, at least till the 35th over.
Still he plays it, still he gets it through.
Bread and butter stroke for Kusal Mendes against fast bowlers. Pat Cummins, fourth over. Very comfortable hitting that back of the length. But they're equal to the task. Waiting for anything loose. Dhananjay De Silva, someone who's very strong. Back foot strokes, waiting anything short.
Off break, grip. This all Sri Lanka should take into account when deciding on how much they need, and that's why I feel with this position 250, 260. Turn and bounce.
A good reach position by Pat Cummins. Give it a real rip. Rather than just letting it go, meaning it by bowling into the pitch is very important in these kind of docile pitches.
Slower ball again. That's the end of the 19th, 92 for 2.
वो एक म्यूचुअल फंड में मैं इन्वेस्ट कर रहा था. तूने इन्वेस्ट किया कि नहीं?
मैं मार्केट चेंज होने के लिए रुका हूँ. म्यूचुअल फंड्स में बैटिंग की तरह टाइमिंग इंपॉर्टेंट है.
गलत. बैटिंग के लिए टाइमिंग सही है, लेकिन म्यूचुअल फंड्स के लिए टाइम स्पेंड इन मार्केट बिल्कुल सही है. मतलब जितना टाइम मार्केट में स्पेंड करेगा, फायदा होने का चांस उतना ही बढ़ेगा.
एकदम सही है. चलो शार्क करके फिर मैं म्यूचुअल फंड्स के मैदान में उतरता हूँ.
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है. योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें.
Lot of rain in these parts lately, but we've been lucky enough to have plenty of cricket. Mitch Swepson switches ends and he's back into the attack.
Some drift start. Swepson slower this time, getting Kusal Mendes in the front foot, trying to go through the offside, just managing to get the inside edge.
As a batsman, you cannot switch off for any moment, single minute even, because you've got to be proactive, got to be searching for the length that suits you. Because now and again that bowler will get the ball on a length and the ball will spin. If you do not put him under pressure with the other deliveries, he'll get more balls into that area. But have him thinking. That's why you need to keep using your feet all the time. Got to get him off that length. Mendes gets a good stride in and carves it through the offside.
The second delivery just to show how difficult it's going to be for the batsman. Oh, the batsman, he's in for a while. Spun, bounce. Kusal Mendes was beaten all over it. Previous.
Lost his shape, Dhananjay De Silva. I just thought initially he should have gone over extra cover. But he tries to hit it straight. And that's the reason why, because he's picked the wrong one. Looking at the field, covering that inside-out shot, long off is very wide. That's down leg side. Good over from Swepson. 20 gone, 93 for 2.
It's finally here.
Very good, sir. ये लोग तो सही है बोल के निकल जाते हैं. क्या हुआ? मैंने म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसे डाले, लेकिन जब से इन्वेस्ट किया ना, मेरे इन्वेस्टमेंट की वैल्यू काफी डाउन है.
अरे भाई,
सर,
पोर्टफोलियो मेरा भी डाउन हुआ है. मार्केट्स का तो नेचर है ऊपर नीचे होना. जब मार्केट ऊपर जाएगा तो पोर्टफोलियो का वैल्यू भी ऊपर आएगा. हमारा काम है म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्टेड रहना.
बात तो सही है.
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है. योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें.
They've tightened up Australia. 18 overs when the drinks break was called on. And since then, just 4 runs in the 2 overs bowled. Build those dots. That's what Finch is after. Oh, he's teasing that fielder because Steve Smith, it is, was wider. He got it to his left. Smith goes to his left, gets it to his right.
Very safe shot down the ground. Steven Smith already had it. Very predictable with mid-off. Almost parallel to the umpire. And it's going to be in those areas. Smith batted so well the other day. Senior statement.
Hesitation. Direct hit was needed. Dhananjay De Silva had given up. Yes, no. All right, I got no choice. I'll try and walk it.
Just not what the Sri Lankans wanted. There. Ball watching. Yeah, far away. Steven Smith quite good at it and clearly showing his frustration. Dry smile by Dhananjay De Silva says everything.
Was his mistake. He called the run. Kusal Mendes responded and he was going all the time. Dhananjay De Silva stopped. Just watch De Silva. He plays it, he calls. Mendes, he keeps going. Moment you call, you have to go. The ball also nicely bouncing into Steve Smith's hands. That's probably his second life, you'd have to say. Dropped in the deep by head. Oh, got him. Nicely taken by Carey. Now that was the slower ball. There was no pace on it and hence Dhananjay De Silva could not beat the keeper. He played it well, but the lack of pace and the second wicket to Pat Cummins.
Slower doing the trick for Pat Cummins. Settled Dhananjay De Silva. Just thought for a moment, got for a boundary, but what a catch by Alex Carey. Full leap. Pat Cummins very well rewarded, bowled really well. For a situation, not giving away much. Settled Dhananjay De Silva. Gone for 34. Sri Lanka 96 for 3.
ये फटका
अब सीख तो गए, अब तो जाने दो मुझे।
ठहर जाइए, कोई प्रॉब्लम वॉब्लम हो गई तो कहाँ ढूंढेंगे आपको?
फैंटेसी अखाड़ा का 24/7 कस्टमर सर्विस है, आपकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करवा देंगे।
कल जाने देंगे।
अरे मन्नू भैया की जबान मतलब मौसम की भविष्यवाणी। मतलब कल मौसम अच्छा है, जाने देंगे।
फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स का असली अखाड़ा।
इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम के तत्व हैं और इसकी लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें।
Charita Salanka got a job to do. Sri Lanka were going along nicely, but a wicket at the wrong time. Australia, well, they keep pegging away. They do that really well. Even if things don't go your way, they're in your face. Since the drinks break, 7 runs, plenty of dots, and out comes the wicket. Slower delivery, bowled into the pitch. Actually nicely played by De Silva. The problem was the lack of pace on offer from Pat Cummins. Around the wicket, a slip and a gully awaits. Plenty of slower deliveries.
Straight away coming round the wicket, Pat Cummins. For sure, be having a plan with Charita Salanka. We've seen against other teams as well. That has been targeted with the right arm fast bowlers to go round the wicket. This was fantastic catch. We understand why Dhananjay Silla did that. Third man was much squarer. Best in field position as well. Looks like Aaron Finch just under the lid at very, very short first slip. Initiated by Aaron Finch. Of the 21st, Sri Lanka 97 for 3.
ये फटका। अब सीख तो गए, अब तो जाने दो मुझे।
ठहर जाइए, कोई प्रॉब्लम वॉब्लम हो गई तो कहाँ ढूंढेंगे आपको?
फैंटेसी अखाड़ा का 24/7 कस्टमर सर्विस है, आपकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करवा देंगे।
कल जाने देंगे।
अरे मन्नू भैया की जबान मतलब मौसम की भविष्यवाणी। मतलब कल मौसम अच्छा है, जाने देंगे।
फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स का असली अखाड़ा।
इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम के तत्व हैं और इसकी लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें।
Big partnership here for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka just having walked to the wicket. Mendes is playing nicely, played beautifully in the first ODI. He's got to start again, Kusal Mendes. A couple of all-rounders to follow, but you would think that this is a critical partnership here for Sri Lanka.
Afternoon, HG. We're in important time here. The game's evenly poised. Australia have been a bit sloppy in the field, but it's turned around with an outstanding catch there to get rid of the silver by Alex Carey.
Good tackling, Max. Good tackling. Nice, Maxi King.
For the first. This is where the partnership in the first match turned around. When these two came together, they ran well between the wickets, gave himself a chance, and allowed Sri Lanka then to be attacking and move the game forward. But really interesting time now for both teams.
So even though this is not a used wicket like the previous one-day international, there seems to be just a little bit more turn on offer here today.
Different bowlers also. You got the wrist spin of Wepson. Booneman gives it a little bit more rip than Ashton Agar. The factors have to come into that as well.
Mentioned the game evenly poised. Just feel that no Hasaranga further down the order, that Sri Lanka might be a little bit bite as far as batting contributions go. Further down, they do have Karuna Ratne and still the captain Darshan Shanaka to come. But I'm pretty sure that Sri Lanka would hope that they only expose them to the last sort of 15, 20 overs.
Catch.
He's found space out of deep mid wicket. 4 more.
There's a first boundary in 24 balls for the Sri Lankans, which also brings 100 up. Just over pitch there from Swepson. Mendes was class enough to clear the infield. I think an easy 4 runs there for Sri Lanka.
$100 on the board now. So fall safely. Trot through for a single. End of the 22nd. 103 for 3.
ये फटका। अब सीख तो गए, अब तो जाने दो मुझे।
ठहर जाइए, कोई प्रॉब्लम हो गई तो कहाँ ढूंढेंगे आपको?
फैंटेसी अखाड़ा का 24/7 कस्टमर सर्विस है, आपकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करवा देंगे।
कल जाने देंगे।
अरे मन्नू भैया की जबान मतलब मौसम की भविष्यवाणी। मतलब कल मौसम अच्छा है, जाने देंगे।
फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स का असली अखाड़ा।
इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम के तत्व हैं और इसकी लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें।
So since Strings, 4 overs have been bowled and just the 14 runs have been scored. Josh Hazlewood being brought back into the attack for Australia. No Agar, no Zampa. How do you think the 2 new men have gone?
Start with Matthew Kuhnemann. I think he's done really well. He's been given the opportunity to open the bowling straight away in his first game. He looked nervous to start with. Then he had his line a little bit too wide, but once he tightened it up, he was in the game. And looked to me, after those first couple of overs, he could beat the right-hander on the inside or a bit of turn on the outside. So I think he'd be very happy with the way he's gone. He's bowled 5 overs, 1 for 24. Took a good catch in the outfield, so he's looked comfortable.
Little high.
And to me, Swepson, he's just looked like he's tried too hard. He's been a bit inconsistent. Where his strength is normally to attack the stumps. He bowls a good wrong and a little bit of turn with his leg spin, but he looked like, to me, he's just tried too hard. He's been a bit inconsistent with his line and length.
Be interested to know your thoughts on around someone like Swepson, a wrist spinner. We know that wrist spinners have really started to do well in T20 cricket and one-day internationals. And the question is, he's also involved in the test setup. Do they bowl differently from one format to the other? How hard is it for a wrist spinner to suddenly go from someone who likes to get the ball up in the air with a lot of revolutions on it? It's a good run.
I think when Swepson bowls at his best, whether it's playing one-day cricket or test matches, he's looking to get wickets. And his strength at home in this form of the game is when he's been looking to get wickets, turn the ball hard. He's got an appeal there by Josh Hazlewood going over the top. But with Swepson, to me, he's got to be concentrating on turn his leggy big, looking to take the wickets. Wrist spinners are in the team to take wickets. You've got your Maxwell and Kuhnemann to tie the scoreboard up and build dot ball pressure. What I like about the leg spinner in the team is a mindset of always looking to take wickets.
Another misfield. Australia have been guilty just once or twice of some misfield. Not like them.
Have been a bit sloppy in the field today. We've seen the catch go down from Travis Head in the deep one you'd expect to take it. Seen half a chance. Steve Smith in the 20th over for a run out and he missed the stumps there. They've just been a bit behind the game with their fielding. It's been a great catch by Alex Carey, one hand, to get rid of De Silva. It's been a bit lazy in their field, but I know they pride themselves on creating that intensity in the field, making life uncomfortable for the opposition with the presence they put on in that ring.
great catch. Gee whiz. You wicket keepers.
I've been waiting to get that in.
We nearly chopped that on. Now they've struggled a little bit today, Australia. Whether it's been backing up, whether it's been on the ones. There's David Warner guilty early on in the match, and then the catch being put down by head in the deep.
Unlike Australian teams, whether they had a good or a bad day with the bat, the one thing they've always prided themselves on is the standard they set in the field, and they'll be disappointed with that. And we've seen the frustration a bit come out with Aaron Finch's captaincy. We've seen at times guys haven't been watching him in the outfield when he's trying to move them in the field, and as a captain, that can be very, very frustrating. Another over completed there by Josh Hazlewood. Sri Lanka are 3 for 107.
Maxwell with off spin, Schwebson with leg spin, Kuhnemann left arm spin, Labuschagne with leg spin. Who would have thought we'd see an Australian bowling attack with just 2 seamers?
What I do like is the opportunity. I know injuries are a disappointing part of the game, but to see Schwebson come in and Kuhnemann have to play without Adam Zampa in the side makes them have to deal with that pressure and see how they respond. A lot about playing for Australia has been able to handle that pressure, that step up.
You spoke about the frustrations of Aaron Finch as well. Can't be easy for a captain as well. The attack's a little bit different. He'll have his go-to men when he'd throw the ball to Mitchell Starc, but now he's not there. We'll want to, won't get it.
Aaron Finch is not one of those captains that normally get frustrated. He's tactically really good. Yes, he has to use a lot of different bowls, but the one thing the fielders can control is they can keep an eye on him. That they can watch what he has to do in the field. There's a big crowd here now. There's noisy, but that's the easy thing to watch the captain. He's got a lot on his plate, and they've just been a little bit sloppy today in the standards that they've set in the field.
In the context of modern day tours, I know Australia more often than not have longer tours than other nations, along with England, particularly I speak about the Ashes, but this is a long tour.
Catch!
Out. Unfortunate, but he's off.
Strange dismissal there for Mendy's. Spoken a bit about this wicket just holding a little bit in the surface, and that looked a prime example of that. Like to sweep the ball, and it just held up, and the looks of it hit the toe of his bat and presented an easy catch back to Glenn Maxwell. Just hold it up a bit. Yeah, that's unlucky. Glenn Maxwell knows that, but he's on his way, Mendes. 36 off 41 balls. Sri Lanka now are 4 for 108.
ये फटका अब सीख तो गए, अब तो जाने दो मुझे।
ठहर जाइए, कोई प्रॉब्लम वॉब्लम हो गई तो कहाँ ढूंढेंगे आपको?
फैंटेसी अखाड़ा का 24/7 कस्टमर सर्विस है, आपकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करवा देंगे।
कल जाने देंगे।
अरे मन्नू भैया की जबान मतलब मौसम की भविष्यवाणी। मतलब कल मौसम अच्छा है, जाने देंगे।
फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स का असली अखाड़ा।
इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम के तत्व हैं और इसकी लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें।
Well, there's a lot of expectation on this man's shoulders after his heroics the other night down in... well, it was here. I was about to say Colombo, but what an innings that was that he played during the final T20, and then in the first one-day international got a horrendous delivery and knocked it straight down mid-wicket's throat. But this is unlucky. A sweep, a Q end. And Maxwell was already smiling. Lots of work now for the captain, Dasan Shanaka. That was a big partnership that Australia have broken. It's been a successful one for Sri Lanka, and now Australia will feel they've got the all-rounders ahead of them and then the bowlers.
Hold on, Max. Keep it on up. He's not going to hit your first ball. 3/4. Yep.
What I like about Aaron Finch, a bit of gamesmanship there. He's challenged the opposition captain, made sure he could hear him say it. He's not going to go over the top first ball.
Yeah, a bit of gamesmanship, wasn't it, from Finch? Lovely.
And that's one of the features of Aaron Finch's captaincy. He's always looking for ways to get wickets. Glenn Maxwell thought there that might have took a little bit of the glove on the way through there to Alex Carey.
Well, Finch moved from leg slip into first slip. Now he's gone back to leg slip. I think he's quite keen to put some pressure on the Sri Lankan captain here. And Maxwell seems to be in on it as well.
This brought David Warner and mid-on three quarters in, just challenging the Sri Lankan captain. If we know he's a big hitter, whether he wants to play that big shot early.
That's a wide. That's a poor appeal.
Big gamesmanship there by Alex Carey. We are seeing the ball holding the surface now. It's got a bit older now. 4 overs old. Starting to take the top a little bit.
Maxwell!
Sweeper goes out on the offside. Maxwell's hoping that Shanaka has a sweep here. He's eager for him to have a sweep and maybe just glove it to the man around the corner. 109 for 4.
मूर्तिमान, पैसे बचाने के लिए इतना जोर मत लगाओ. Just use ACO. और कार इंश्योरेंस पे 50,000 तक बचाओ.
कोई ना. Check ACO app now.
Balalage, the new man who made his debut in the previous one-day international, he was impressive, bowled in very difficult circumstances. The captain was happy to toss him the ball, and he responded well. It's as defensive a field as you're going to find at this stage of the game. Would there not be some thought from Finch to say, well, if I can knock over Sri Lanka here, I'm through the batters?
Yeah, I think with this field, that's what Aaron Finch is doing. I don't think he sees slip as an option to get a wicket, but what he's done is he's crammed his fielders in the ring close. We know Sri Lanka's normally a one-pace player. So what he's saying to him is, we're going to cut those ones off, so you're going to have to play your big shots to get this game moving forward, but then brings a wicket opportunity for Australia.
Oh, I would have glanced to my left if that had gone through slip.
You wouldn't have seen me. So that cross seam there by Josh Hayes, taking the top of the wicket a little bit away to Alex Carey. One from Josh Hazell, holding the ball across the seam and still gets it to cross Sri Lanka with his angle.
We hear a lot of talk now in the bowling world around this wobble scene. Stuart Broad from England bowls maybe more so in the red ball game. But I mean, what is the idea behind it? Is it sort of the bowler's going to land the ball in an area and the wobble, it might go in and might go away, or do they have an idea which way they're looking to take it?
The bowlers will tell you they do, but Stuart Clark was probably the one I played with, was the best exponent of it. He could bowl with a wobble slim and get the ball to talk off the string. And Josh Hayes was very similar, very skillful. The length's the key. You've got to get your length right when you're trying to steam.
They normally have a look upstairs, but yeah, they do. But I think he's safe.
TV umpire director, we have a umpire referral for a run out. Give me your best side on, please. Batsman made his ground. I have a decision for the big screen.
Yeah, moving on, not out. Maxwell hits. Is he one of those fielders, Glenn Maxwell, that hits a lot?
Yeah, Glenn Maxwell, I know my time with the Australian team, he was the stand in the field, and he's a great barometer for the rest of the group. He pushed them hard, he holds himself to really high standards, has a lot of work on throwing out the stump, but he creates things in the field. His presence, he's always trying to get involved in the game.
Yep, open, come and visit. There's been a lot of talk over the last few months, but I can assure you it's a wonderful place to come to. People, scenery, and what support there's been for the cricket teams. $111 for 4.
मूर्तिमान, पैसे बचाने के लिए इतना जोर मत लगाओ. जस्ट यूज ACO. और कार इंश्योरेंस पे 50,000 तक बचाओ.
कोई ना.
Check ACO app now.
Where Finch starts to have a look at who he's going to bowl at the back end of the innings and needs to make some decisions now in the middle. Spin. Should look too much into the innings that Dasan Shanaka played the other evening. He is a player that likes to get himself in. He's not someone that just wants to walk to the wicket and take it on. He does like to have a look.
Ball's in a little bit of trouble here for the Sri Lankan skipper. He's not quite sure whether the ball's going to hold in the surface or skid on.
Effective. You say skid on. Maybe I'm over attacking here. Love to find a slip as well as the leg slip in place.
The matchup I was looking for. Now Asalanga's an aggressive player. Gone around the wicket to the right hand, and there's been a little bit of inconsistent bounce, so Langer would have seen that from the other end. Big concern whether Max will turn one going away and bring Finch and the wicket keeper into play, or you'll see the ball skidding through that bat pad. But there's enough there on offer to look a real contest here between these two. Haven't seen a boundary last 22 balls. Pressure's right on Langer to see if he can change the momentum of the game here.
Got that fine. Got to run a good angle, David Warner, and it goes for 4. Outfield is so quick. So Warner's now just pulled a little finer at deep square leg.
It's the line and length I was talking about there with Maxwell. Challenge both sides of the bat there. If it does skid, you can beat the batsman on the inside, but if it does just hold a little bit, it then brings Carey and Finch into the game, and that's why Aaron Finch has kept himself at that first slip position.
Hard work, 116 for 4.
साइबर क्राइम की एक लेटेस्ट दुनिया,
इनसे बचने के लिए इनके वर्ल्ड में घुसना होगा
और इनकी सोच से आगे सोचना होगा।
अब क्रिमिनल्स की उल्टी गिनती शुरू।
टीम ट्रेस है तैयार
अगेंस्ट साइबर वार।
Vimal presents Cyber War, her screen crime scene, streaming free on Voot. Download the app now.
Partnership is worth 8. Australia will squeeze now as the captain has a look at Josh Hazlewood for the first time this evening.
Feel something building here. Strange. You just feel like the game's real holding pattern here, where it could go either way. Get the breakthrough here, get halfway and put a lot of pressure on that middle to lower order Sri Lanka. No Hasaranga, we know the energy he brought the innings and his attacking flair last game. He's not there. Just thinking they can get one more wicket here this Australia and they'd back themselves and knock this Sri Lankan tail over.
Just thinking with Dasun Shanaka, the possibility of a slip and where that fielder could possibly come from. If we go back a few days to the T20 International, where he got a long way across onto off stump and he ended up getting himself out LBW, Dasun Shanaka, and you wonder if there is a willingness to take a risk and to possibly bring the man up off the boundary from deep square leg, bring him into mid-wicket, and Finch can get himself in at slip. Just that wicket-taking opportunity. And he'll respond by hitting that for 4. Just a hint of width.
Good shot there for Sri Lankan captain. Just a little bit too much width here from Josh Hazlewood. To open the face, played the ball nice and late. That's a really attractive shot. What the captain does, he pounces on anything loose. We know the power he's got. Josh Hazlewood will be disappointed with himself there.
Wow, that's it well. Gee whiz, complete control.
Back-to-back boundaries there for Sri Lanka. That one was a wonderful stroke. To get the short ball there, Josh Hazlewood just didn't quite get it high enough. Just look here. Skillful enough to play that in front of square, which shows there's not a lot of pace in this wicket. Another 4 runs there, the Sri Lankan total.
Amazing how one performance can change what people's thoughts are. Shouting his name really a few weeks ago. Shouting his name almost thinking, well, should he be in the side? Now shouting his name because he's the man they look to.
Sometimes that can happen in your innings. You remember those days you're playing, you're struggling to get the ball off, and all of a sudden there's one stroke you play, you get everything gets in the right position, you hit the middle of the bat, and all of a sudden it can get your innings and your series going. And that's what we've seen in the 2020 game. He looked uncomfortable the first 2, but the way he played in that last one, he's got some momentum and confidence back into his game.
124 for 4.
साइबर क्राइम की एक लेटेस्ट दुनिया,
इनसे बचने के लिए इनके वर्ल्ड में घुसना होगा
और इनकी सोच से आगे सोचना होगा।
अब क्रिमिनल्स की उल्टी गिनती शुरू
टीम ट्रेस है तैयार
अगेंस्ट साइबर वार.
Vimal presents Cyber War, her screen crime scene, streaming free on Voot. Download the app now.
Deliveries for his 18. Nasanka cut well in his brief innings, and Mendes and Dhananjaya got things, they steadied things for Sri Lanka. Both got out quick succession, and now the rebuilding takes place again before what you would expect to be an onslaught.
Partnership just starting to build now. 16 off 22. And Aaron Finch is gone. Man on debut for Australia today, Matthew Kuhnemann. He's already got himself a wicket and a handy catch in the outfield. Been brought on though to get a wicket here for Australia and see if we can expose that tail.
Certainly there's some effort in his bowling, isn't there? You hear he grunts at release, at point of release, tries to spin the ball hard. Tell you what, Cricket Australia will be happy with their decision to send an A side over here, wouldn't they?
Especially with the injuries they have. I'll tell you one thing I heard before the tournament started is, yes, he was selected in the A team, but he went to Stephen O'Keefe off his own bat. He flew from Queensland to Sydney. O'Keefe had some success over here in Sri Lanka and spoke to him, had a session about bowling on these wickets, how it's different to playing in Australia. He does come from Brisbane where the wickets are a lot harder and skid a lot more. So he spent some time with Stephen O'Keefe, who was very, very good on subcontinental wickets, which to me shows he wants to improve.
Young cricketers, sometimes in the modern day you can just rely too much on everything around you. There's such big coaching styles, and so it's encouraging when a young man trying to make his way in the game is prepared to do something off his own bat. A little bit of turn, be wided. No real short side today either to the ground. In the first ODI there was one side of the ground was a lot shorter than the other, and the batters certainly look to target that area now, more in the middle.
Like he's frustrating Sri Lanka here. We know his first mindset's to attack. That'll change the pace. Just throwing his rhythm out here.
It just blocked up his sort of go-to stroke when he's trying to get off strike, that little lap. Put a man around the corner. 45 and the deep square legs. He's had to find another area to try and get off strike. Slip for the right-hander. Nicely bowled. 128 for 4.
I don't think वो moment मैं कभी भूल सकता हूँ. 36 all out.
Virat is going after this test match, and this Indian team will be steamrolled.
When you put your country above all the things, that is something you play for.
.128 for 4. 28 overs completed. Lots of spin from Australia. Maxwell 4, Clipson 5, Labuschagne has bowled 2, Kuhnemann has bowled 6. So plenty of spin. That's how the Australians are looking to try and work their lineup in the bowling. Maxwell will continue. There is turn, Maha. There is turn, and the pitch is also holding up a little bit. Now, my initial thought was, when I first saw, when there was turn earlier on, there are lots of people still coming in. That's a very good sign. It's a decent crowd. It's a decent crowd, I'll tell you. Nothing close to the crowd we had for the last T20 and the first game, but still quite good. I think we might have a few joining us at least towards the evening. But just getting back to the surface, initially when we did see it, Tanaka looks to sort of launched. I thought it was the drying moisture. It was, but now there is some dryness in the surface and there is some turn for sure. So the Sri Lankan spinners have something to work with. If they have at least 240, 250 on the board, you reckon?
250 is the bare minimum. This condition, especially we know in Pallakele, the evenings the lights takes full control. Lights takes control. The ball tends to skid on with the faster balls, but the spinners, it all depends on the moisture level. Just answering a question on the surface, I just think it's very dry. Yes, there was some moisture since there was lots of rain. The wickets were covered, and challenge is for the batsman. One is not what's turning, what's going straight. Which one to turn, which not to turn. This is where Maxwell and the rest of the spinners have done well. Kept on one length, one line. There's a little pace variations, but the lengths are much more fuller.
Slog sweep, straight to the man at mid-wicket. How unfortunate is that? Charita Salanka just picks it, man, at deep mid-wicket. That's Kunaman who takes the catch. Maxwell strikes. That's a vital blow. That's a big blow. Tossed up. Going for the slog sweep from outside the off stump. The intent was right. Just the decision was right. It's just the execution.
The timing was perfect, not the placement. Second batsman find the own fielder. Was Danush Gunadalika first, and now Charita Salanka has gone for 13. Sri Lanka reeling on 130 for 5.
I don't think वो moment मैं कभी भूल सकता हूँ. 36 all out.
Virat is going after this test match, and this Indian team will be steamrolled.
When you put your country above all the things, that is something you play for.
सलमान खान के परम मित्र निर्मल भैया पधार रहे हैं।
रोज रोज तड़पे। पापा अचानक क्यों चले गए?
वो हमसे बात नहीं करना चाहते थे।
अरे रोब से गया था ना तेरा पाप, सांप है सांप। पापा घर छोड़कर क्यों चले गए थे? तो बता था क्यों नहीं?
130 for 5. Charmika Karunaratne is a new batsman. Decent average. Best of 44. But take another look at this wicket. It was hit firmly. The timing was right. The decision was right. It's just the execution. Just couldn't pick that gap. He found the fieldsman, the lone fieldsman on the boundary. Just like Danushka Gunadilaka picked on a lone fieldsman. Well, the drone. I tell you, it's been magnificent. It's given us some wonderful pictures, and now it's flying through. This is at the far end, the grandstand, and it's just flying through the grandstand and comes out to the ground. It just reaches some amazing heights, and it also goes quite low. And now it's climbing above the light towers, and that's what it gives us. Yeah, the heights and lows have been amazing for the drone. Right, short leg in with the off spinner just slightly backward, going round the wicket. That's the captain pinch. That's a novelty, having the captain at short leg. There is turn. 130 for 5.
Successful over.
I don't think वो moment मैं कभी भूल सकता हूँ. 36 all out.
Virat is going after this test match, and this Indian team will be steamrolled.
put your country above all the things. That is something you play for.
Since then, Charit Asalanka timed it so well. Or at deep mid-wicket. Now, it's the two all-rounders. That's the job for Sri Lanka. And the bowlers to follow. Lots of work to be done.
.130 for 5. Charmika Karunaratne and Dasun Shanaka, two all-rounders. Good crowd, colourful crowd, young and old. Tournament will continue. He had a good debut. He's taken a catch. There's one for 28. Some of the moves are magnificent, aren't they? Down on one knee, finds the fieldsman, Dasun Shanaka. Well, he's taken his time, 18 balls for 13. Now is the time for him to take control.
Need a captain's knock. 21 overs to go. With Charmika Karunaratne, we all know who. Naturally aggressive player. Situation demands a different sort of a Charmika Karunaratne. See how he goes. Like the way Aaron Finch has captain in this ODI series. Straight away when the batsman comes in, bring himself now at silly mid-off. Playing that mind games with all-rounders. It's under the lid. Keeping the mid-wicket open. The batsman to try and play against the turn. So that he could be turns and bounce. Then Maxwell short extra will be in the game. Very aggressive. Every batsman seems like Australian captain have plans.
Lucky. Very, very lucky indeed. He was beaten in the flight. Again another look, just pushing a little bit early. See how that bottom hand comes off the bat. Would have been an outstanding catch. But this will encourage the Sri Lankan spinners. But Maha, to do that, Sri Lanka need a minimum of 240. And this is the last of the recognised batsmen, as far as we could see. And then there is young Wellalage, Van der Say. Look at what the drone is providing. That's a closer look at the light towers. There is also Pushpanta Chamira and Mahesh Deekshana. So doesn't really have too much a reputation as batsman. This is the last pair, and that's the reason why that partnership between Dhananjay De Silva and Kusal Mendis was critical, that they had to bat at least till about the 35th over, just to make sure that they have a decent base, get close to 240 and maybe get 240 and challenge the Australians with spin. Quick single. I'll tell you one thing, these two, they can run. 134 for 5.
गलती हो गई उस रात स्टेज दूजी ने भी उड़ा देना चाहिए।
Stop these guys. एक-एक करके सबको मार रहे हैं।
ये सब सिर्फ एक मर्डर को छुपा।
जब तक वो लोग मरेगा नहीं, हम छोड़ेगा नहीं।
ये चेस का गेम तो चलता ही रहेगा। कभी आपको चांस मिलेगा, कभी हमको। मैं तो उसको मारूंगा। हम उसको बचाया।
Including this game so far.
Maxwell 2 for 15 in 5. He's been good. He's got 2 wickets. Ball with control. Once again, I'm impressed with the crowd that has turned up. Pallekale has been very good, very kind to cricket. They saw an outstanding game the last T20. This is the call. Could be trouble here. How close is that? I think Chamika Karunaratne managed to get back. Dharmasena will want to check.
Impressive bit of fielding by Steven Smith at short mid-wicket there.
Run out referral. Give me the best side on, please. Roll it forward. Okay, batsman made his ground. I have a decision for the big screen.
Right, the direct hit would have been tighter. Just those milliseconds lost as it came to the keeper's gloves, and he had to drag it and take the bails off. Goes for the slog sweep, and he gets it. That's an area that Chamika Karunaratne will like, and that's an area that he looks to score as well. That's a big release. Just making sure that you release the pressure.
One thing is for sure, it's in his area. Chamika is not going to miss out. Very strong down the leg side. This time Maxwell slightly full. And a pressure releaser by Karunaratne.
He had to be mindful. He's got a 6 of the second ball. That's the way to go. Not the easiest surface to bat on, as we could see. Oh, the drones showing us. Yes, you're wondering who the good-looking man next to me is. That's Faviz Maharu. Just a little steer.
Get some eyesight checked.
There you are, the good-looking guy. That's Faviz Maharu for you, in case you're wondering.
Looking guys in the pink shirt today. Mr. Arnold, who's having a break, maybe having coffee.
Quick running, good work, good work. Got 7 runs in the over. Still one more ball left in the over. Sri Lanka going at little over 4.5. Asun Chanak on strike. Short leg slip in. Oh, just to the right of that man at leg slip. It will run away to the boundary. Needed quick reflexes. That went quickly off the bat. 11 of the over.
Let's begin. ये पावर है बढ़ते कदमों की।
हर देश ये टेक्नोलॉजी खरीदना चाहेगा। इसे देना पसंद करोगे?
जिसका पहला हक बनता है। भैया, जो कदम इस जमीन से जुड़े रहे, अब वही करेंगे इस देश को रोशन।
कुछ कर ऐसा, दुनिया बनना चाहे तेरे जैसा, रजनीगंधा।
They had in that over with a 6 and that boundary.
First, a look at the Sri Lankan buildings. Not very big ones, a few. Topped with those yellow and blue dots. Kanak 18, 9 to Karunaratne. Tournament will continue. Australia has continued to attack Sri Lanka with a close-in fieldsman, either at leg slip or at slip. With the left arm spinner, we got a slip in. Quick single, quick single. Good work.
Poonamon has been really impressive in his first ODI, as well as Mitchell Swepson, who's making a comeback into his team. I just want to the difference of that area. They're going to release it much. Swepson much more round armish, and Kohnman much more straight up, probably on 10:30 releasing positions. The difference is the bounce. Kohnman has been getting a lot of bounce, and Swepson, though he has gone for 30 runs of his 5 overs, has threatened many times. So that's Kohnman, 1 for 34 in his 8 overs. More bowler who's going to bowl wicket to wicket, not going to think of much taking wickets. He's a containing bowler. Mitchell Swepson is someone who's an attacking bowler. Got to give that leverage of going for some runs and picking up those wickets. They've lucky couple of runs for Sri Lanka there. Almost could have chopped it on there, Chamika. I think spinners, good variation of spinners Australia got. Even Glenn Maxwell varies the pace. And Labuschagne just come and bowl a couple of overs. It's quite okay. Have all horses with courses. Very impressive the way they have used the pace and the length. Australian spinners.
Nicely pushed. 2 is the call. These are useful runs. The Sri Lankan 150 is up. Partnership of 21 of 17. Ratna looking to be the aggressor with some sensible batting. Dasun Shanaka at the other end, 19 of 22. Sri Lanka needs this to kick on. They need this partnership to go deep. Safely played.
Mentioned Roshan about 250s bare minimum. I think the next 8 overs Sri Lanka could manage at least 4 runs per over, maybe a boundary or an over. So that's 32 runs. At another 6 runs or so, that means 190 is on the cards. And the last 10 overs, if these 2 batsmen are there, is for the till the 45th over, and without any risk, should get it about 225. Then kick on in the last 5 overs. That should be the game plan. End of the 32nd over, Sri Lanka 152 for 5.
वेलकम टू बक्सर।
ना तो तुम इनकी जात के साथ क्या घूमते हो बे?
चलिए भैया, ये सब वो लोग हैं। तो रास्ता काहे काटते रहो?
कौन बिठा रहे तुम लोग को यहाँ पर?
मैंने बिठाया।
अशुद्ध कर दिए, पूरा लेपना पड़ेगा यहाँ पर।
ऐसा क्या है जिसे छूने से इंसान को अपने घर तक छोड़ देना पड़ता है?
Mentioned about 260, 6 runs and over. I think 250, as you said, Sean, bare minimum in these conditions. Bear in mind that the top wicket taker for Sri Lanka is not playing this game, but to leave that leverage as well.
$152 for 5. Those are projected scores at 6 and over 260. You spoke about the last 10 overs. I think the important is to have at least one set batsman. Now in the first game, Sri Lanka had Kusal Mendis, which was very good. So Swepson is back. He's gone for 30 of 5. Bowling with a slip. Pushed down the ground. Good work at mid-on. Time the dives. That's David Warner. Yeah, spoke about the Sri Lankan batting. I believe young Dunit Velalage should come in next. The under-19 captain all-rounder. Taken on the full. A couple here at least. Work in the deep. You know that he went to St. Joseph's College, and it's the first time that St. Joseph's have produced a schoolboy cricketer in 125 years of their history. It's a first. There have been quite a few guys, quite a few cricketers who represented Sri Lanka, but nobody from school. So it's a first from St. Joseph's. Right. The roof is on fire. That's the wrong one.
Dunit Velalage, as expected, soon after the under-19 World Cup, before that Asia Cup and a couple of tours, Sri Lanka under-19 said was earmarked to be the spinning all-rounder Sri Lanka was craving for, especially in these conditions. So giving those exposure, Sri Lanka cricket selectors are doing the right thing. How are we going to use him? That's very important. For me, he has to be nurtured in, used very carefully, not to be thrown into the deep sea right away.
Now you were someone who came from school to the national team. So how were you used? Were you nurtured properly, or were you helped along? I mean, be honest about it, because I'm sure that will be a model that they'll want to follow with Velalage. Another single.
In my case, Roshan, soon after I played the Under-19 World Cup, I was sent on an A-team tour to New Zealand to play 3 ODIs, and then was selected to go on Zimbabwe. It was not the most toughest team then, so I was eased in, but still I was a schoolboy. And at that time, of this form, so many senior players to look after me in that way, and I've nurtured in at the right time as far as I'm concerned. So the 33rd over, that's a lot of turn in that previous delivery. Talking about in that Mitchell swept 157-5.
The season of stars is setting in.
India are rampant.
Brace yourself for a whole summer of Indian cricketing action.
Outstanding bowling.
With an old score to settle.
Real drama now.
80 hours of action-packed Indian cricketing extravaganza.
Ouched. The Indian team is on an absolute roll here.
Watch the India Tour of Ireland and India Tour of England only on Sony Live. Subscribe now.
They love the drone, don't they? They really love the drone. The people love the drone, you know. They truly love to wave at the drone, and there you are. That's what they do. Just like one of our co-commentators, Russell Arnold, loves to wave at the drone, loves to wave at the people. Sometimes he tends to dance. Swept behind square leg.
One thing common with drone and Russell, they like to roam.
They like to roam, you say?
They want to go everywhere. Can't be seen.
So you say Russell is a roamer. That's a good comparison, Mark. That's high. That's gone very high. It's gone very, very high. Unfortunately, it hasn't gone the distance. It's just gone the height. And Kuhneman gets another one. And Charmika Karunaratne has to go. Pretty unfortunate.
A brain fade, got to be said. Not need of that time. Just getting into the groove, a partnership being built, showing some responsibility, and all of a sudden, second of brain fade, and Sri Lanka leasing the way again. Karunaratne gone for 18, 159 for 6, and time for some drinks break.
Let's begin. ये पावर है बढ़ते कदमों की।
हर देश ये टेक्नोलॉजी खरीदना चाहेगा, इसे देना पसंद करोगे?
जिसका पहला हक बनता है भैया, जो कदम इस जमीन से जुड़े रहे, अब वही करेंगे इस देश को रोशन।
कुछ कर ऐसा, दुनिया बनना चाहे तेरे जैसा। रजनीगंधा।
वेलकम टू बक्सा। ना तो तुम इनकी जात थे, इनके साथ क्या घूमते हो बे?
चलिए भैया, ये सब वो लोग हैं। तो रास्ता काहे काटते रहो?
कौन बिठा रहे तुम लोग को यहाँ पर?
मैंने बिठाया।
अशुद्ध कर दिए, पूरा लेपना पड़ेगा यहाँ पर।
ऐसा क्या है जिसे छूने से इंसान को अपना घर तक छोड़ देना पड़ता है?
This June, how many cricketing blockbusters can you handle? All the big guns, all the big hits at your fingertips. Watch England versus New Zealand 3 Test Series live on Sony Live.
गलती हो गई उस रात स्टेज पे, दूजी ने भी उड़ा देना चाहिए।
Can't stop these guys. एक-एक करके सबको मार रहे हैं।
ये सब सिर्फ एक मर्डर को छुपाने।
जब तक वो लोग मरेगा नहीं, हम छोड़ेगा नहीं।
ये चेस का गेम तो चलता ही रहेगा। कभी आपको चांस मिलेगा, कभी हमको। मैं तो उसको मारूंगा, और उसको बचाया।
कुछ कांड किए थे क्या?
विभाग की राजनीति में हिस्सा नहीं लेते ना।
हम कब से कह रहे हैं किया करो राजनीति। इनको तो अपने घर में राजनीति करनी है। घर आना है, रविश कुमार देखना है, चिकन बनाना है, दारू पीना है और नशे में वो जावेद अख्तर सुनना है।
मम्मी वो बेगम अख्तर है।
हाँ तो बहन होगी।
आ गया है गुल्लक सीजन 3।
159 for 6. Chamika Karunaratne's wicket lost at a critical time in the innings. Sri Lanka needed him to carry on, but big moment for Dunit Velalage. These are the non-strikers, and take another look. Chamika Karunaratne was looking to go over the top. Just held back a little bit. And what he did was he got more height really than distance. And taken in the deep, just a few yards inside by a very safe Pat Cummins. But it puts more pressure on the captain, Dasun Shanaka. Now he's got to bat with the low order. How well will he do it? He has to rise to the occasion. That is indeed the need of the hour as far as Sri Lanka is concerned.
The previous wicket of Chamika Karunaratne, Roshan, was smart captaincy. Having mid-on up, just thought Chamika was trying to go much more straighter, probably slightly towards a long on. And he had deep mid and deep square legs. So it's again, very good captaincy by Aaron Finch.
There is turn just outside the off stump. And it's the pace that he bowls. That's just 80 Ks. So they understand the pace they need to bowl on this surface. Short and wide and pumped off the back foot. That races away to the boundary. Dasun Shanaka needs to do this. Anything loose, he needs to pounce on because he knows that there isn't much batting left. Velalage hasn't played or batted in an international game. This is his first opportunity. The rest of the batting really don't have too much. Good work. He'll keep the strike. 7 runs and a wicket, 164 for 6.
Let's begin. ये पावर है बढ़ते कदमों की।
हर देश ये टेक्नोलॉजी खरीदना चाहेगा, इसे लेना पसंद करोगे?
जिसका पहला हक बनता है भैया, जो कदम इस जमीन से जुड़े रहे, अब वही करेंगे इस देश को रोशन।
कुछ कर ऐसा, दुनिया बनना चाहे तेरे जैसा। रजनीगंधा।
$164 for 6. Dasun Shanaka on strike, 28 of 31. Slip still in. Again, short and wide. That's 4. This is not good bowling. He's been fed 2 rather poor deliveries, and credit to Shanaka. He's bounced on both and capitalized on it.
2 in 2 with Dasun Shanaka. Lot of similarities in both the strokes. Power, that's what he possesses. Steelpan wasn't that short, but short enough in this pitch. Slow. There's plenty of time for the batsman. Sweep this time. Got some hand there. Fielded by Manas Labuschagne at short square leg. Extra gear being done by Dasun Shanaka. Anything short in this pitch, it's going to hang up and ask him to be hit.
But this is really good by Shanaka. Look at him, he's going down the pitch to have a word with the young man. Just trying to calm his nerves. It's a big moment for young Dunit Velalage. Take a look at the sweep. He hit it with a lot of power. Manas Labuschagne did well. Get his hands to it. So 3 men on the leg side saving 1. 3 saving 1 on the offside. Big slip in for Velalage. Straight away. The cool customer just watched the ball onto the bat, rolled his wrists.
And Aaron Finch doing the right thing again. Mid on, mid off, both up. Don't think Velalage will take that risk. It's his earliest career so far. Very young. 30 average. He is born of a bowling all-rounder. He's making his name.
Oh no, he's not yet at least. Looks very boyish, doesn't he? Just 19, I mean not mature, just very young. Straight to the man at extra cover. And missed out there, young Vellalage, right in his arc. This was the last game. Nice touch by Glenn Maxwell. Talking to him, and very nice touch. Sri Lanka and Australia. Sharon, very good repo. This young man done with the legend such of Glenn Maxwell. Debut itself. Now the next side this time, big turner. That was appreciated a lot by the Sri Lankans. I know that it was very well appreciated even on social media, speaking very highly of the gesture of Glenn Maxwell, having a few words through him. That was pushed through quicker. 170 for 6.
इस बार हमला उनकी इकोनॉमी पर होगा। इस हमले के कागजी सिपाही होंगे हमारे जाली नोट, जो उनके मुल्क के कोने कोने में हम सर्कुलेट करेंगे।
सर, इस मर्सिनरी को आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए वी नीड टू टैप इन आवर बेस्ट ऑन ग्राउंड इंटेल।
ये आरडीएक्स और जेएम की एक्टिविटीज, इन दोनों के बीच कुछ कनेक्शन है भी या नहीं?
ये है हमारा मेन टारगेट। जब तक ये हमें मिल ना जाए, ये दो शक्लें नींद में भी याद रहनी चाहिए।
Oh, the action is on. The bowler's ready, so that ends the fight. Interesting phase of the game. Sri Lanka have lost 6. There's not a lot of batting. No one into Hasaranga. Dunith Vellalage, he can bat. He's on debut innings rather. His first innings, he didn't bat the other day. Chamira, Deekshana and Van der Sar. That's not a lot.
And not a lot behind these two, but the one thing the youngster's got in his favour, he's out there with his captain, and they would have spoken a lot now about making sure they take this game as deep as they possibly can, and maybe reassess what they thought at the start of the day was a good score. If they can get around 250, the way this wicket's playing and the spin options they have in their team, they're still right in this match.
Very much. Looking at the pitch before the game, I thought 250 was the number. They're well placed to get there. 15 overs, including this. 40th over, 3-4 and over, you're close to 185, 190. Play 5 more, get to 210, 215. And then go from there, because it's not easy. The options are different on this pitch.
There's still a long time to bat. There's still 14.5 overs to go. And they've got time on their side to build an innings.
6 balls yet to get off the mark.
And you can see the nervousness in the youngster. He's a bit nervous between wickets. Australia have got 6 in the ring. They're trying to make things tight, make him hit the ball hard over the top. But Aaron Finch is creating pressure and trying to get a mistake out of the bats and maybe a silly run.
Key is not to panic. Work yourself backwards. Look at that target. How many runs do we need? Last 5 overs, I can get at 6, 7. Get your maths out, get your calculator out. I think it's very important. It's how you project yourself. Helps how you feel and think. He's off the mark of the 8th ball he faced. 172 for 6 after 36.
इस बार हमला उनकी इकोनॉमी पर होगा। इस हमले के कागजी सिपाही होंगे हमारे जाली नोट, जो उनके मुल्क के कोने कोने में हम सर्कुलेट करेंगे।
सर, इस मर्सिनरी को आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए वी नीड टू टैप इन आवर बेस्ट ऑन ग्राउंड इंटेल।
ये आरडीएक्स और जेएम की एक्टिविटीज, इन दोनों के बीच कुछ कनेक्शन है भी या नहीं?
ये है हमारा मेन टारगेट। जब तक ये हमें मिल ना जाए, ये दो शक्लें नींद में भी याद रहनी चाहिए।
Looking at those partnerships, every time Sri Lanka looked like they were going to make an onslaught into this Australian bowl, and they lost the wicket. It's been good bowling from the Australians. Kuhneman's done a really good job. He's just finished his spell now. Got 2 for 48.
Glenn Maxwell starting his 7th. Got 2 wickets.